Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we look at the black hole that is Sadiq Khan's back doors. Only joking. But it is a black hole for taxpayers' money. The London mayor's begged for and given Transport for London bailout has been peed up the wall. And he's back begging like bloody Oliver. Please sir, can I have some more? More? At this point I want to remove all responsibility from Sadiq, the useless pipsqueak. Make him a mayor in name only. But what say you? I'd like to know your opinion. Before we go any further, Anne, tell us what state politics are in the UK, will you?
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
So right, isn't she? The article is titled, TFL asks government for a second bailout amid fears of a £5 billion funding black hole. The government has already provided a £1.6 billion injection, most of which has already been used. So as you can see, £1.6 billion was just the tip of the iceberg to these money-hungry fools. Let's not forget the TFL has hundreds of managers that are on over 100k each, all under the useless or corrupt gaze of our totally inept Mayor of London. Let's also not forget that our capital's fares are the highest in the world. Granted that this was due in part to the fares funded model that the Tories imposed, but I guarantee the hiring policy and payment structures within TFL make up the real reason TFL is a money pit. Also remember, the government don't have money, they have our money in the form of taxes. And yes, they are for services, but are we not entitled to ensure our taxes are not pissed up the wall over and over again? Let's read this and find out how much more they need and how they and Sadiq, the useless pipsqueak, justifies asking again. This should be mental gymnastics to the extreme, everyone. Transport for London was forced to ask the government for another major bailout today as the network stricken by the lurgy crisis faces a potential funding black hole of up to £5 billion. TFL is asking the government for up to another £2 billion rescue package to get the network through the second half of this financial year after passenger numbers plummeted during lockdown. Mainly due to Sadiq Khan, to be honest, reducing the numbers of trains so it all packed up, and then everyone saw how packed the trains were getting, and now we don't go near them, do we, Sadiq? You made your bed. The deepening black hole means a number of projects have been put on hold, like lining his back pocket, placed question marks over the future of other developments, and raised the prospect of higher fares. Yeah, even more higher fares. We're already the highest in the world by quite a considerable amount. I mean, just as an example, this is, in London, a day travel card for all of the zones is, I think it's £18.10. In Berlin, which is Germany's capital, their day travel cards for all zones are £7.50. See the difference? Yep. The government has already provided a £1.6 billion injection, most of which has been used. However, continuing low passenger numbers mean TFL needs further government support. Does it really? I beg to differ. I'm actually thinking, considering Sadiq Khan's putting in cycle lanes everywhere, let's just cancel the tubes and just make everyone ride. How about that one? Are you not worried about this man yet, London? Are you not starting to think maybe we shouldn't vote for this absolute nut job? TFL is anticipating a further £2.9 billion will be required during 21-22, according to its revised budget published today. This may change depending on whether there is a second spike or lurgy vaccine. No such thing as a second spike, it was always the first spike. You do not get second spikes of viruses. See, they want us to believe the things they say and then they lie to your face, don't they? And some of the gap can be plugged through business rates. Transport bosses gave a stark warning that the pandemic is having a serious impact on projects with very difficult choices expecting to be made. They added, without the revised funding model that London needs, which would give long-term certainty of sustainable funding, some projects will be unable to progress. It's a shame. Welcome to the rest of the world's problems. We don't get the funding that London gets, do we? What happens when our projects come up against something? They get scrapped immediately, don't they? Projects being paused include the Rotherhithe to Canary Wharf ferry and the transformation of Croydon Five Ways Junction. TFL also warned they needed to be realistic about what major future projects will be affordable over the next decade, including the proposed DLR extension to Thamesmead, the Bakerloo extension suspension and Crossrail too. TFL's latest modelling shows that public transport usage is likely to remain significantly low for the foreseeable future. At the peak of lockdown, TFL's passengers' income was reduced by more than 90% compared with 2019. I'm sure it had nothing to do with the fact that you weren't putting any trains or buses on, was it, Khan? It was nothing to do with that, you absolute fool. Mayor Sadiq Khan and TFL point the finger at their funding model, which means they rely on passenger fares for 70% of their revenue. You were on a different model and you still were peeing taxpayers' money up the wall, were you not? This, they say, is unlike other major cities such as New York and Madrid. No, they didn't have to do that because their transport system wasn't taking the piss. But ministers and critics have accused City Hall of mismanagement and losing control of TFL's finances. Mr. Khan said prior to the pandemic, TFL were on course to reduce their operating deficit by 86%. And why has that changed? Because of a few people not going on? Don't talk rubbish, man. And increasing their cash balances by 31%. TFL's revised budget should sufficient funding be provided by the government in the months ahead, will keep services running safely and support London's recovery from the pandemic. Sod your recovery from the pandemic if it puts you above everybody else. Andy Byford, London's Transport Commissioner, who is also an absolute waste of space, said inevitably very difficult choices have had to be made about the pace at which projects can be funded and completed. How about this one, Andy? How about you cut some of your extortionately paid staff? How about that? How about you get rid of your managers that are obviously not doing a very good job if you're so desperate for more and more and more of the taxpayers' money? Maybe you should get rid of some of them, you greedy git. Oh, I got a bit angry then. Sorry. I'm not even a Londoner, but it irritates me, the wasting money, which is one of my main gripes with the NHS, to be fair. Exactly the same principle. In the current climate, some projects will have to be paused. We have a real chance through our supply chain to support jobs across the UK and help the country recover from the pandemic through a wide range of shovel-ready projects. Shovel-ready projects? What the hell does that mean? Have you noticed all these little 3-year-old bite pieces that they're putting out at a minute? All these slogans and stuff. Did he really think we're that stupid? It was announced overnight that the heavily delayed Crossrail line is going to be postponed again, as predicted by the Standard earlier this week. The central section of the line from Berkshire to Essex via central London was expected to open in summer 21, but Crossrail said Lurgy had made the existing pressures more acute. And they're all going to jump on this bandwagon, aren't they? Because of the Lurgy, we've not got the money, you're going to have to give us some more taxes. I guarantee that all of these companies are going to try and milk us dry. The Department for Transport spokesperson said, we are undertaking a comprehensive review of TFL's finances to ensure it is put on a sustainable footing for the future. Sack the managers. We are also, and the mayor, obviously, we are also introducing special representatives to attend the TFL board, which will strengthen oversight and challenge on behalf of the taxpayer alongside offering expertise. This will protect vital transport services across London, creating a sustainable TFL legacy. Legacy? Really? Your legacy is rip-off at the minute, and delivering on our ambitions for cycling and walking. Now, what's my opinion on this? Well, this can't continue. We can't keep bailing out failing businesses. You may say the TFL is a service, but not while they're on a mainly fares-funded model, are they? That puts it in the business bracket, not service. The way TFL manage its money is disgraceful, and the mayor, if he had any sort of knowledge, could have sorted this out very, very quickly, which makes me lean towards him being corrupt rather than inadequate. Maybe we should call for all MPs and mayors to be audited. I'd love to know where they get so much money from, wouldn't you? But anyway, I'd like to know your opinion. Let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.